Hands away there.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Thursday Night Live here on SAFC Fan TV with your host, Jacob Kirkbride. Joining me tonight, Michael Bowers, Dino Elgar, Sean Middleton, the man with the fresh trim, the mad mistake, and also our beloved editor, CONRAD Lee. Don't forget, guys, the live chat is open. If you want to put forward any questions for us lads to try and answer as the show goes on. And also, if you could please like and subscribe as we're trying our very best to get to 5,000 subscribers to make it a very happy Christmas for all of us associated on with SAFC Fan TV. So, to start the show tonight, Sunderland Football Club, who are still looking for their new manager after they sacked Phil Parkinson. Assistant manager Andrew Taylor is currently in temporary charge, and his first game as caretaker boss was a 1-1 draw against third from bottom side Burton Albion on Tuesday evening. It was definitely an entertaining live stream when me, Conrad and Sean done it on Tuesday night. I would say the most entertaining thing was when me and Sean tried our best to do the posh impression of reading out League One scores. I would say that was the highlight of the evening. And then Remy Matthews' mistake ruined everything and disrupted the mood throughout the night.
You're having too much fun, lads. How about a goal conceded?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, let's go to one of the lads who wasn't on the live stream on Tuesday. Dino, we'll start with you. A 1-1 draw against third from bottom side, Burton Albion. Things are just going from bad to worse for Sunderland right now, isn't it?
Yeah, to be fair, we never have a good game against Burton. I mean, it's been like that since we're in the Championship. We never, ever beat Burton. I don't know what it is. And I mean, their goal came from a Remy Matthews mistake. And I know he's been playing well, but I always say I didn't really rate Remy Matthews. He's made too many mistakes. I mean, Lee Burge made one at the start of the season, and other than that, he's been really good. And everyone was giving Lee Burge stick. Where are them people now who are giving Lee Burge stick? I mean, Remy Matthews isn't a good goalkeeper. We got him from Bolton. I mean, I'm not going to shit on the lad like loads because, I mean, he's done well for himself to get a move here. But for me, he's another League camp. He's just prone to a mistake. On the game, I thought, passing-wise, we passed the ball more forwards. I seen Max Power actually playing good balls into the box, playing forward balls. I mean, that was a bit of a difference. It was. I seen passages of play I haven't seen before where it was all one touch. I mean, Conor McLaughlin was playing really well down the right-hand side with Luke O'Nien. I mean, that link-up was really good with them. I don't know what Terry's doing.
I don't know what you were watching.
Oh, God.
No. I know what I was watching, and I seen good passes. No, right. When we drew with Burton, everyone says shite, but at the minute we're there for the taking for any team. I mean, I heard Michael say about the Wigan game, we should be beating Wigan. At the moment, we can be turned over by any team. At the minute, we've got no confidence. We haven't even got a manager, and like Terry says, we've got a manager who played the same formation as Phil Parkinson, like what's he called? Andy Taylor?
Andrew Taylor.
Andrew Taylor. He didn't change anything. Let's be fair. He should have brought some youngsters in, do something different, and he didn't. The only thing that he changed is that he went 4-4-2 when we were 1-0 down, and that was the only change he made with the last 20 minutes to go. It was piss poor, but at the minute the lads are low in confidence. We haven't got a manager. We don't know who's going to be the manager. I mean, it must be a lot for the players when you don't know what's really going on and you're very low confidence. I mean, however, man, Burton played like Burton. I mean, and I've got no confidence in the Wigan game. I mean, Michael's saying that we should turn them over, but should we? Have we seen the way we've been playing? Have you seen with strikers? I mean, Danny Graham's going to be up front. Enough said. But it's a 1-1 draw. We need to move on. We need to beat Wigan. We need to get a manager in, and we need to get this takeover sorted. Until then, we're just going to be like that because that's what we're like as a club anyway at the minute.
Yeah. Terry, before we come to you on the live chat, Anthony Lee, other than the fans, the whole club is a total joke. Macam 88, Rail and Air Hub. Didn't want Sol Campbell, was shite with Macclesfield and Southend. Matthew Liddell, no end product, that's the issue. Andrew Robbins, justice for John Cook. John Cook, who was our beloved kit man for over 20 years, who apparently has been made redundant by the football club, which is an absolute disgrace. We're going to come on to that later on in the show tonight. So, Terry, Tuesday night, the misery continues. Like Dino said, it was no different to when Phil Parkinson was actually in charge, and Andrew Taylor, all he was doing was just carrying on the same routine, basically, same system, same tactical approach. The one positive, he did throw Elliot Embleton into the starting lineup, but other than that, the wing-back system still remained in place, and we never looked like showing any real quality in the final third, did we?
Well, I mean, I was kind of excited, thinking, we're going to have some changes tonight. We're going to do something different. It makes you think, who's in charge? Was it Andy Taylor or was it the team? Because I was so disappointed when we had the same setup. I couldn't believe it. The same setup, the same kind of play. There's not one of those footballers got a brain cell to just to do something different. Why are we going 3-5-2? Why on earth are we doing the same shite that we've been watching week in, week out under Parkinson? And Parkinson's not even here. It must be ingrained in them. They must be like robots. They must be like just sheep. That's all they can do is do the same shite. I'm not going to get on Andy Taylor's back. He's a young lad. It's his first game in charge. It must be like kind of sort of like daunting being in charge of a bunch of supposed to be adult football, professional football players. And his first game in charge, I suppose he must be sitting on the touchline thinking, why on earth am I in charge of these players? Why on earth have I put the same starting line out? And eventually, the bell went in his mind when we're 1-0 down. He thought, right, fuck it. Pardon me, French. I'm going 4-4-2. Never mind what Phil Parkinson's done for the past year. I'm going to go 4-4-2. And it changed the game altogether. We were a different side. We looked better. We looked miles better. But before that, we're just like, it's okay having loads of possession. It's okay passing the ball back in defence, going backwards and sideways. What are we doing? We're just tiring ourselves out because all we're doing is passing the ball about. Really slow. There's no pace. There's nothing at all in midfield. We're just doing the same thing. Denver Hume. What's happened to Denver Hume this last couple of games? He couldn't pass the ball. When he got the ball, he was going backwards. Instead of just getting the cross straight in. Going down the byline, get the cross straight in as soon as possible. By the time we get balls in the box, they've got 11 men behind the ball. And like I say, we're just like they said last night on one of the sports shows, when a good team passes the ball around at the back, to fizz the ball across the back of the park. So yet the ball do the pace. So obviously the ball goes faster than the men. The ball will go faster than the players. When we pass the ball, it's just so slow and predictable. It's like, I'd rather stand in that corner and watch the wall, watch the paint dry. Honest to God, it was that bad. The first half was that bad. Even Nick Barnes said he had absolutely nothing wrote down on the sheet at half time. The only words he had wrote down on his bit of paper was HT, and that was it. That's how bad the first half was. And the second half, Matthews, I mean, he hasn't played too bad last few games, but he's got a mistake in him. We all know he's got a mistake in him. We'd rather see Bird. Personally, I'd rather have Patterson in goal all day long. Get the young lad promoted to the first team. If Patterson can't make it at League One standard now at that age, he must be able to. Surely he's going to be better than those two. Has to be better than those two. Where's Diamond? Where's Dan Neil? Is Diamond injured? Has he got coronavirus? Why wasn't he on the bench at all? I was pleased Embleton started, but for me, if Embleton's going to start, centre midfield for me. But I'm sure if there's no manager in by Saturday, Mr. Andrew Taylor will have learned his lesson and do something that Phil Parkinson hasn't done for a year. He'll change his tactics and have a plan B. Andy Taylor on Saturday will have a plan B. You watch it.
Terry, a comment in the live chat to cheer you up from David Jones. Terry for Stadium Chef, what a midweek pasta bake, which I'm referring to. I think he's referring to the latest video on your fantastic channel. David Walker looked better when we went 4-4-2, and Dibononso de Wanka. Oh, God, it's very strange. Some of the names in the David Jones.
Donald the Wanker.
Oh, so where do they get some of these names from? I'll tell you, I do apologise. I'll probably have to take a lesson on how to pronounce it right. And Keel Watson, never in a million years it's a takeover. All Drufus is an investor. Donald Meffin Satori still involved and ultimately pulling the strings. Michael, Tuesday night against Burton, Andrew Taylor. Before me, Sean and Conrad went on air, we were discussing, you would have thought he would have showed ambition in terms of if he made any changes or not and his tactical approach to the game. But I summed it up on Twitter yesterday, to be honest. It just reminded me of a Phil Parkinson bus replacement service. To be honest, that's what I said. And it looks like, because I feel we would have had a new manager in place by now. It looks like Andrew Taylor's going to be the man in the dugout for the Wigan game on Saturday. And he's got a lot to work on, hasn't he?
Has the bus replacement service broken down already? That's what it tends to.
The fans thought it would be the Goss bus early in the week, but it's just a Phil Parkinson bus replacement service.
That's definitely broken down. Obviously I wasn't able to come on the live stream. Very good to the lads that were on it. I did manage to catch the second half and little clips here and there the first half, but to be honest, the first half looked as dull as dishwater, so I kind of lost interest in it. Second half, it was just pedestrian. I wasn't surprised that the tactics didn't seem to be changed, at least earlier on in the game. I wasn't surprised because Parkinson took training on Sunday. You remember that, Sunday, then they would have had another day's training, and then the game's on the Tuesday night. So I actually wasn't surprised that the tactics were the same. I would have hoped they would have been. I hope they would have been different, rather, but not surprised. Well, like Dino said, I don't mean this in a horrible way, and I don't think they will go down, but can Burton get relegated so we never have to play them at home ever again? I'm getting sick of playing Burton. We never seem to turn up against them for whatever bizarre reason. From what I watched, it did look like later on in the game we were at least attempting to go forward a bit more. And I don't know if that was the change of system. And then Power obviously gets a good header. Like the others have said with Remy Matthews, last couple of games before Tuesday, didn't think he did that bad, but I still don't get for the life of me why Burge was dropped. If he was fit enough to be on the bench the last few games that Matthews started, he should have been starting then, in my opinion. But yeah, it's just the same old. I'm just like, irrespective of the fact that we do tend to get turned over half the time, it still doesn't make the results acceptable. Like, you look at the last 4 games in the league alone, but Burton, MK Dons, I mean, come on, like and MK Dons, Fleetwood, and Doncaster scored first. So it's the same old stuff. Like I said, I believe that if Sunderland have any aspirations of wanting to go up, they needed 6 points from these 2 games. And even if we do beat Wigan, I still won't be happy with the points tally from these games. Somehow the rest of the league doesn't seem to want to try and put a stamp on promotion. Hull's the only one that's shown any sort of type of form, which only makes the recent results all the more frustrating. But there you have it. No one's going to be, apart from Hull probably, no one's going to be consistent. You just got to win on Saturday, whatever way it comes. I don't think we will, actually, but it doesn't mean we can't expect to get the result. We've got to. But yeah, I mean, fair play to you guys for somehow managing to keep people seemingly entertained for 2.5 hours in a game that looked really, really boring and looked very, very dull.
It certainly was, mate. Conrad, before we come to you, Chris Britt, SAFC, evening lads. William Story gaining a lot of support. Interesting change of dynamic. Jack Dodds, Sean, what are you laughing at? I think he's referring to something earlier ago. Mikael Allen, Trinidad Mackham look like I'd have Stendhal and the former Bristol guy. I think he was
Lee Johnson.
Lee Johnson, that's it. He's been linked, hasn't he? Clayton Edwards, Sean Mann, you making me crease, tell us a joke. Jack Dodds once again, Sean, what's so funny? Conrad, mate, we touched on earlier, Remy Matthews, for some strange reason, is still right now our number 1 in between the sticks. And since he got that first start of the season in the league against MK Dons, Lee Burge hasn't been able to get back in the team, and it's completely baffling. It was an absolutely horrendous mistake to give away on Tuesday. Personally, I felt if he just held on to that ball, we would have sealed a scrappy 1-0 win, I felt.
Yeah, it was, well, what was it? The Fleetwood game, the one before, he made an absolute worldie of a save from distance to tip it onto the bar as well. So
Yeah,
he does have it in him, but it's the simple ones that you've got to watch for with him, the sort of daisy cutters that are coming straight at him. He can't seem to handle them. But like Dino said, Burge had made, one mistake this season, and that was just clattering someone inside 2 minutes of the season starting. Since then, he'd never put a foot wrong, and then all of a sudden dropped. We're not doing well enough. Do you know what I mean? I just don't get it. And I think I'd rather have Burge, who's made one mistake of fouling someone and saved a penalty this season, than Matthews, who in a couple of games, whether it be Papa John's Trophy or the league, has dropped the ball in his net or dropped it to the striker for another team.
Yeah, absolutely. On the chat, Chris Scott, #free McGeady, David Walker, Story ain't buying the club, man. And Nestalino, Milton Nunes apparently messaged William Story. Milton Nunes, honestly, what a fantastic striker to play for our club. Brings back a lot of memories, I must say. Sean, the game on Tuesday, we watched it, just shocked completely. It's just, how bad can it get right now?
Jesus. Do you know what? That was probably one of the worst football matches I've ever seen in the first half. It was absolutely just dire, terrible. I mean, we had like 70% of the possession, 71% of the possession, right? But it's all right having the ball, but if you're not doing anything with it, then what's the point? Like, just passing it back and back and back. We've got nothing in the middle. We haven't got one good midfielder. Do you know what I mean? What's the matter? I'm thinking. Like I say, so it was just terrible. It was awful. I think, do we have a shot on target in the first half?
I don't. We hardly touched the goalkeeper.
Yeah, we did. Conor McLaughlin.
Like I say, I was having the game. You're feeling pretty confident, but to be fair, it's Burton's third from bottom. But yeah.
You all right, Sean?
Yeah. What are you doing, man? Anyway, it was awful. It was terrible. It was a really bad football match. Things not going to get any better anytime soon. We've got Wigan coming up next, who's bottom of the league. One of the edges writings on the wall, reading it.
The man mistake you wanted in.
Yeah, Sean, have you got Stuart Donald tied up under the desk?
Oh, no comment on that front. No comment. But onto this crucial game against bottom of the table side Wigan Athletic on Saturday, and I'm just nervous thinking about the game. For me, it's like a nightmare waiting to happen. Just even the thought of sitting through and watching us try and at least get the first goal, which even if we do that, I'll still be nervous as hell, because right now we never seem to look like we're going to see games out at this moment in time. And I shouldn't be thinking that, but coming up against the side who's bottom of the league. But what more do you expect right now? Honestly, just so much negativity, no quality on the pitch, no new manager. And if I was a Wigan player at the moment, honestly, I'd be full of confidence going up there. Really, I would. Dino, we're going to start with you.
Yeah, I mean, we've got no confidence in my team. There's no quality. I mean, the only moment of quality in the Burton game was the goal. That was the cross, and then some wide Max Powers in the box, which he never does. I mean, Wigan will probably be confident, because Wigan need wins. Wigan are bottom, so Wigan's going to have to go into that game thinking, we need to win this, because we're in a relegation dogfight. We've been in them plenty of times. How many times have we been in a relegation dogfight? And we turn teams like we used to turn teams like Man City over, nick a 1-0. Wigan can do that to us. I don't understand why people think, we should turn them over. Have you seen the way that teams playing, man? We don't look good on the ball when we're passing the ball around, let alone going forward. I mean, the only time we ever look good is when we're going backwards, when we're passing the ball backwards, because that's the only way we keep the ball. I mean, Charlie Wyke's probably injured now. I don't know if anyone's heard anything about that. Luke O'Nine's injured as well, so maybe that chucks Diamond in the picture maybe now. Maybe Diamond will actually get a go now. But he needs to change something in centre midfield. I mean, I know Grant Ledbetter had good games at the start of the season, but I think he's drifted off a little bit. I think he's got the wrong partnership in centre midfield. I don't know what formation we were playing on against Burton, because Josh Scowen, was he playing centre midfield or was he playing on the wing? Because I couldn't tell. I mean,
I think it was a three in the middle, wasn't it? Scowen led better than Power. I think Power was further forward, only in the second half.
Yeah.
Well, that's when we changed to the 4-4-2, didn't it? So that means Power could get forward. But I mean, I've got no confidence in Danny Graham ever getting a goal. I mean, so he's going to probably start in front of Greg. Greg doesn't even look like he's going to score, to be fair. I know he hit the post, but you've got to put that in. You've got to put. If we're going to get chances, you need to put them in. Hitting the post isn't good enough. We can say it's unlucky, but how many times has Will Grigg been unlucky? It's down to quality. You can only be unlucky so many times. I mean, Wigan will. Honestly, I think Wigan will beat us. I really do, because I don't see how we can win that game, because we've got nothing, unless what's his name again? I keep forgetting.
Andrew Taylor.
If Andrew Taylor needs to make a massive change, as in formation and in personnel, he needs to change the team up. He needs to bring someone like Daniel Diamond, bring back Hamilton in, give some other lads a go. I mean, because the players who he's got now aren't doing it, so why not change it? You're playing against a team who, on paper, we should be beaten, but I mean, with the players we've got playing with no confidence, we probably won't beat them. So change something, make a big change, get Lee Birch back in goal. Remy Matthews had his time, he's made a mistake, and it's time for him to be dropped. Take him out the firing line. But I'm not confident. I'm not confident on Saturday. Hell no, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm totally the same, Dino. Back to the live chat. Motion. He has to start with 4 at the back on Saturday. McFadzean, Wright, Flanagan, and McLaughlin. Andrew Robbins. Hope 09 is okay, but McLaughlin hasn't put a foot wrong this season. I would play McFadzean. Motion again. Andrew Source from the club saying a fractured collarbone, which I think he's referring to Luke 09 there. So worrying signs.
Oh, was it that bad?
3 months out.
It looked really bad when he came on.
I thought it was his shoulder. I didn't think it was his collarbone.
Collarbone's like a lengthy layoff as well, if that's the case.
It's bad, that.
And a couple of comments referring to the managerial situation as well. Fiona Razor, lads, what do you think about the John Cook situation? We'll come on to that later on in the show. Once again, that's just an absolute disgrace. Sums up the state the club's in right now, making someone like him, such a passionate guy, redundant. Great representative of our club. Michael, mate, Wigan at home on Saturday. Last result for them was a 2-1 defeat away at Lincoln. This season, scored 10 goals, shipped in 22 at the other end, though, bottom of the table with 8 points. They've had a lot of financial struggles over the last few months, which contributed to them getting relegated from the Championship. Lost a lot of their best players, like striker Kiefer Moore, over the summer. And even though they have a very inexperienced and lack of quality in their squad as well at the moment, like Dino said, would you be surprised if they came up to us on Saturday and got a result?
No, but we should be. Even though we're not playing with any confidence, and I'm with Dino, I think Wigan will come and beat us. Just because we're low on confidence doesn't mean that you can't be fuming if we don't win the game, because that isn't good enough. Is this the standard that we've sunk to now, that this is acceptable? And that's not a dig at fans, by the way. That's a dig at the players, because I think some of them need to have a good hard look at themselves after the last few games. Like I've said before, as much as I do want us to score more goals, if you look at it factually, we've only failed to score once this season. So if you look at it, well, we're not going to keep clean sheets every week. Well, if you're not going to bother to keep more than 1 in 8, then you've got not as much. It's going to make your job a lot harder to win games. But I think we're going to want it more. I think it's as simple as that for me. They'll want it a lot more than what we will, and I think we'll underestimate them. Because as much as they're bottom of the league, and I still would expect a 3-point. I don't see how we can't expect otherwise. That I wouldn't be shocked. I just think we'll get very complacent. I can just see it. I can just see Wigan coming up and just completely turning us over, and I just don't get it. And when you look at the stuff that's going on off the pitch as well, I know we'll go into the John Cook situation later on, but like it's just an embarrassment at the moment. And like I said before, we keep getting opportunities to close the gap in the top 2. Well, to me, it doesn't look like the players are that interested in taking it. So start being interested in taking it and then see what happens.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, even though I'm nervous as hell for Saturday.
How many points? Remember that good start of the season we got? We had like 17 points in the first 5 games. We had like 17 points in the first 5 games. How many points have we actually had since then?
17 points in 5 games is amazing because you can only get 15.
Well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Oh, do you know it's maths?
Maths, sorry.
I feel maths, mate.
2 + 2 is 4 - 1. That's 3 quick maths in the world of Dino.
Can anyone remember?
Quick maths.
Can anyone remember when we played the first 9 games? And
for context, after we beat Ipswich, which I believe was our 10th league game, we were on 21 points. 1 point of second. Now,
which season are you on about, Dino?
Sorry?
Which season are you on about where we started well? I need
to remember this.
I know, this point.
I need to remember this.
2 seasons ago, maybe. The thing is, a month ago, you would have considered the season a good start. After we beat Ipswich, I'd considered it a very good start considering who we played. But that we were only 1 point off second. We've now allowed that gap to drift to 5. And I think we've only took 3 points. 3 points since then. So there you go. A loss, 3 draws. So there you go. And, but it's okay. According to people like you and Dennis on Twitter, twat. He wonders why Parkinson got sacked. Well, actually have a look at what was going on, mate.
Yeah, I 100% agree, especially when the football was dire to watch, and he never looked like in the near future he was going to change things. And leaving subs too late, Michael, wasn't it? We touched on the channel plenty of times, but he's no longer here now. Let's hope that whoever comes in next shows more willingness to go on and win the game and make more tactical substitutions before the 70th minute. That's what me and Michael.
Parkinson 2.0. That's what we'll get.
Sorry?
I couldn't agree with Tino, to be honest. It's written in the stars. Terry, before we come to you on the Wigan game on the chat, Nestalino, surely Grigg over the road, Runner Graham, Howe, lads, he'd struggle at South Shields. Clayton Edwards, if they can't make it in this league, they will never make it. Personally, I think Dan Neil, Jack Diamond, Elliot Embleton should be starting week in, week out. Matthew Liddell, a great Southern Mackems, brilliant lads. Put Terry up front. And Johnny Cool, Ian Everett, lads, Bolton manager, mark my words, he is the man to sort this team out. Don't know too much about the guy. Probably someone will have to back me up a little bit on that and give an insight onto what sort of manager he is. Terry, Wigan on Saturday, huge game, but like myself and a lot of Sunderland fans right now, we're not looking forward to it at all, are we?
I am. We're going to win. Simple as. Right. We've been a soft touch in the past, right? The problem is we're a soft touch, right? We need to harden up a little bit. Now, we need players in that play with no fear. Charlie White's out. Gooch is out. 09's out. For me, kind of play Graham. Hume has to be dropped. Scowen has to be dropped. Now, he's the one that I'm a bit dubious about, but the formation at the moment is as bad as my finger looks.
Oh,
right? So we need to do something different, right? We need to do something different. We need to go 4-4-2. Andrew has nothing to lose. If a new manager comes in, he's sacked, right? So has nothing to lose whatsoever. Needs to bring the youngsters in. So I would go 4-4-2. I would go, you have your Flanagan in your right, your Patterson in goal, and you McFadzean on the left, with possibly Dan Neil in front of the left-hand side. Then you got McLaughlin on the right with Diamond in front of him. Now, up front, Grigg and Maguire for me. If not Maguire, then it's got to be Grigg and Maguire because Graham's complete tatey Graham and White's out. Now, here comes the hard bit. He won't drop Max Power because he's the captain. So he will not drop. Max Power is probably the biggest sort of personality in the changing rooms, along with Ledbetter. So I don't think he'll drop Max Power because he's the captain. But now do we drop Ledbetter, give him a rest to bring Embleton in? Embleton and Power in the centre with the youngsters on the outside. Now, if it's obviously not working out, Grant Ledbetter can come in at any stage as a substitute. We've got 5 subs, we can use them. Let's bring the youth in, show a bit of enthusiasm, a bit of power, a bit of sort of want to win, a bit of drive, ambition, no fear whatsoever. We have nothing to lose against Wigan. We've been playing shite for most of the season. It's Andrew has nothing to lose at all. Let's do something different. Neil Diamond, Patterson, McFadden, get them in the team. Grigg with 2 up front, it might work. Grigg has more looks more nimble, more agile is the word, than Charlie Wyke, than Graham for me. Out of the 3 strikers, he might actually now put a shift in with a new manager coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. But then again, it depends what sort of manager we're going to get regarding this director of football, because it looks like we're going to go down that route. It all depends on what manager would want to work under a system where he might not necessarily be deciding what players we bring in over the next 2 windows. But Terry, you wanted in there before we go?
Just one last thing. We can afford to bring in a fucking director of football, but we go and sack someone who's on minimum wage, probably. Mr.
Yeah,
Cook.
I can't
understand
that
later on.
I'm not
It's
embarrassed.
ridiculous. Absolutely scandalous.
It's mind blowing. I really do not understand it. And
the thing is, what manager would want someone else to buy the players? That's didn't we do this before? When Di Canio was in charge, and he brought in Diakite, Moberg Carlson, bought all these players, and every single one of them was shit.
Yeah, but was it when Poirier was here as well? Wasn't Lee Congerton making a lot of the signings as well?
Jack
Rodwell. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It honestly does not work.
They have to be on the same page, like Bielsa and the Leeds guy. Leeds have one, but he works with Bielsa to pick his players, and when they just make them their own and just go, "I work with what you got there," that's when it falls apart.
Yeah, was it also a key example with that? Also, was when Alan Pardew was at Newcastle and Joe Kinnear was the director of football. But that's one we all love to see if we're all Sunderland fans.
That just went wrong because of Pardew and Joe Kinnear, though.
Was it going on Talk Sport calling? Was it Johan Kebab, wasn't it? When he did that interview. Tom Tyndale, so how do lower league teams knock higher opponents out of any cup? Attitude, man management and desire to win. So great example of when Mansfield knocked us out. Clayton Edwards, it's more frustrating than Parky seeing. He said he's going to use the kids, but we aren't at this moment in time. If I was going to contemplate leaving the club, like Luke O'Nine, not Luke O'Nine, Luke Molyneux did. He was a good little player. Jacob Ardvard, well said, Terry, keep the faith. And Alan Loscombe, 442. Sean, Wigan on Saturday. We need to go for it now. We've got injuries in the squad, left, right, and centre. Show a bit more passion in the starting lineup. Like this guy said on here, go 4-4-2. Why not?
Well, Wigan haven't won a game, right? In 14, I think.
Oh, don't say that.
14. The bottom of the table, yeah.
Until Saturday.
Sunderland won. Wigan up.
Andrew Tilley, he probably have this last match, and then maybe his own new manager will come in. So you would expect, as Mama said earlier on, he'll do something proactive. Maybe play a 4-4-3 or even a 4-4-2.
4-4-3.
4-3-3. 4-3-3.
4-4-3. Who said?
Hang on.
We want an extra player. That's how bad we've been dealt with. We want 12 men on the pitch.
4-4-3. Play something like a 4-3-3 or if people say 4-4-2's outdated and stuff, and it's that the other, but just try something different. I was expecting a reaction on Tuesday night. I was expecting the players, if maybe they were playing for Parkinson and just couldn't understand his tactics and this, that, and the other. But when a manager gets sacked, you see a reaction from the players, and I never seen that on Tuesday. I'm hoping that there's delayed that reaction for this weekend when we're playing Wigan at home. But I'm not really confident. To be fair, we haven't won it in 6 matches as well. Just checking there. Lost. Drew.
So it's win next.
We've got a few injuries.
1-1.
We've got a few injuries.
1-1.
We've got a few injuries as well. I mean, like I say, look, when that doesn't look very good. It could be a dislocated shoulder.
Collarbone, mate.
Is it?
That's what he
Apparently.
said.
According
just laughing because earlier on that we had to tell you that. No, I mean Dino. Like Dino learned it from us, and then Dino's passed it on.
Luke 09 is that good. He could play in a sling and still play better than a lot of the players on the pitch.
Looking at some of the players like after Tuesday, I'm thinking to myself, I mean, I keep seeing, well, these players, they are good to finish in the top 6, but when I think about it, a lot of them, I'm thinking, are they really? I mean, I've gone about max power every game, and this, I mean, I was shy, to be fair. I mean, who played well really on Tuesday night? I mean, the keeper making that mistake as well. I mean, if the keeper never made that mistake, you could have won the game. It's just little ever like that can cost you. We might have done this in the Doncaster game. We switched off in the last seconds and we threw away a win. I'm the same as you. I'm not confident at all for Saturday. Like, I mean, Jesus Christ, it's really worrying. I mean, it's for me. It's like the players are just. There's no. It doesn't seem there's any fight in them either. Do you know what I mean? There's no fight in them, and it's like that's the worrying thing. I know. Obviously, when a new man comes in, you probably see a bounce for a little while, but I mean that's the next thing. I mean the manager. I mean who we're going to get. That's the biggest. I mean, me and Jake were talking this other day. That's for me now. This the biggest decision in our football club's history. This getting the manager right. I mean, if we didn't get it right, we'll stay in this division this season. We'll just be an average League One season. A club could be just in this league for many years. We need to try and get this year. And I'll tell you what, I'm not confident at all.
Dino, you wanted in?
Yeah, right. Do you know how we're saying go back to 4-4-2? Would any use be against going against a Jack Ross special of 4-2-3-1? Because I know everyone's saying 4-4-2 and all that, but 4-2-3-1, the players have played that system before and it did work. I mean, it's got to be better than this 3-5-2 or whatever we're playing at the minute. So would you be against going back to a 4-2-3-1?
If it gets you a scrappy 1-0 win, I'd snap your hand off right now. To be honest, that's how bad we're playing at the moment. That's my answer to
it. Who's the one though, Dino? Who's the one?
Well, you can have either in the centre attacking midfield.
Yeah.
No, the striker.
Striker. Greg. I think
can't play by himself.
Wait there.
Greg's got to have somebody there.
I reckon if you've got someone like an Embleton or a Maguire behind, you'll play them through balls. Because let's be fair, Greg is faster than Wyke and Graham.
Put together.
What about O'Brien? Or
what about O'Brien? Yeah, where's he gone?
Injured. He's injured, isn't he?
I think so. Yeah. Is he? Unless he's back in for Saturday.
But I think we'll see the best of Maguire or Embleton in centre attacking midfield. 100%.
Yeah, but to be honest, there's no harm in doing that. I mean, right now, because it doesn't even look like we're keeping clean sheets at the moment. I think personally for Saturday, we need to go back to not only was it adding a little bit more quality in the final third, but also learning how to keep the ball more and trying to see games out and keep clean sheets. Also, Michael touched this on his channel. Conrad, before we come to you, previewing the Wigan game, back to the live chat. Jacob Arvard, Ada McGeady runs down the wing for me. Clayton Edwards, Donald Duck and Methhead don't understand having local people in the club makes me feel more to home. It feels like our club. Nestorino, what worries me if we get a director of football could mean inexperienced manager to be appointed. There has been talk of Danny Cowley being appointed recently. Whether you put him under the inexperienced bracket, who knows? And Philip Stout, we've got to take the game to them, for God's sake. Get in their faces, attacking football. We've got nothing to lose. Conrad, Philip summed it up well there, but the question is, are we going to do that on Saturday?
I just like Neil Thornton's comment, which is we should play 10 in defence and 1 in up front to stop us getting beat on Saturday. I mean,
Forcefield.
might be a bit negative, but I think if we can hold on for a point, it'd be a good result.
Hold on for a 0-0 against Wigan.
Yeah, it's like
we're going to win. We're going to win.
That's a big Sam formation away from home against the top 6 side in the Prem.
We have to win. Really, is the only, especially if we're going to keep up. I know we haven't even got a manager at the minute, but the longer it takes them to, like in the Premier League, when we sacked someone in like October, you thought, you've got a couple of weeks before it starts to get in trouble if the caretaker's not doing anything. At the minute, we're falling further and further behind. So they're making it harder for the manager when he comes in by not going, right, we need to make a decision earlier on. I know they're probably interviewing lots of people and trying to get, a good idea of it. But what we're in now, we're in December and we've already had over a third of the season, I think. Would you say roughly?
Yeah, just over.
I think we've still got a couple of games to go till we get to halfway, but because the fixture scheduling is not quite the same as any usual season.
You said 1/3, though, didn't you? Did you say 1/3?
Yeah, we're over a third of the way through, but we're not quite halfway then. But I mean, we're just going to be out of the running of it. I already said to the lads, I don't think we're never going to catch Hull, even if we get an amazing manager and we go on a right run. We're not catching Hull now, so you've got to play for second place. Which already, I don't really want that attitude in my players to be like, second's all right. Do you know what I mean? We need to be going out, we need to win this. We need to win every game. But maybe that's why teams are beating us because, I don't know which one of you said it, but Wigan will come up to us going, we can beat them and we need to beat them. Whereas we're a bit like, oh, we should win this. We should win this. It's okay. We need the attitude of, we need to beat you. We need to sort of just
it's
get 3 points off you. Yeah, and it's just intention behind it. Like someone said before, playing with a bit of positivity, taking on a man, having a go. Do you know what I mean? It's like, was it Terry said when they zip the balls around the back line instead of when we just sort of slowly look to pass from side to side and just wait and see what happens and if anything moves, get a bit of urgency in your play and we might actually win a game. But it's probably just going to be the same thing as a Parky formation probably because they'll just copy and paste.
It's just, I don't blame you for believing that. I really don't.
But I'm being positive, so it's going to be a 1-1.
Jack Ross special.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Quickly before we go to score predictions for the game on Saturday. Did you, Terry? Sorry, man.
I just wanted to say, what was the best half of football you've seen this season? For me, in the Takeover Trophy, the first half, the kids played Fleetwood off the park. They passed the ball brilliant. They zipped it around really fast. The crosses were really quick from Embleton. I thought the first half of that match was fantastic with those 11 fit players.
That's up there, but Charlton
away
first half.
Charlton
And we had like 5 or 6 chances that we should have scored them all, and we just didn't.
But it was the same kind of football, wasn't it? It was the same slow passing, build up slow, get the ball in the box. Just Charlton was shite at that moment in time.
The build up was fairly quick. We just missed like 2 or 3 really, really good sitters.
We noticed it was the Fleetwood game we noticed.
We only just missed 2 or 3 sitters. We didn't do anything wrong there.
Exactly.
The Fleetwood game was different because we had a bit of pace and urgency.
Don't forget we got beaten the Fleetwood game.
The second half was a different game because the first half we lost some decent players. Second half we changed it all together. The side. What about the first half? The first 45 minutes we played them off the park. They couldn't get the ball and we passed it really fluently. We got some good passes. Dan Neil, the passing was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, Diamond was doing well as well.
Was brilliant. How can nobody see that? It's like.
Don't forget, Fleetwood would have been playing a weekend team as well, and then would have had a lot of kids out.
Look how bad Wigan are. We've got 1 point in 6 games. That's how bad this Wigan side is. We have to beat Wigan. I don't care what anybody says. This team's got to go in that park and play Wigan off the pitch.
Go on, Michael.
Terry, can I just ask Terry a question? Are you Dan Neil's agent?
No, but if we don't start playing these youngsters, they're going to piss off. I tell you now.
I don't blame them. They're not getting games.
I really don't.
I would not blame a single one of them for leaving.
Yeah.
Look at the Ballymumba situation.
They'll go, especially with like players leaving this club. One to highlight, Duncan Watmore scored twice for Middlesbrough last night. And I think
that was going to happen on it. Watmore's always going to shut for another club.
Typical.
When people come here, they just don't play the same, and then they go somewhere else and they just light it up. It's always happened with Sunderland players when they leave. They always light it up, and when they play for us, they're shit.
Yeah. Quickly before we go on to obviously the score predictions to the Wigan game, Adam French just put the under 23s in. Anthony Perth, I heard Story has offered 45 million for the club. Clayton Edwards, we can win these games. It isn't hard. They're just making it hard for themselves, playing the same way week in, week out. When we switch, it will be on the up. If we switch things, it will be on the up. So it's just the hard reading of these small words when you're trying to host at the same time. Yeah, so score predictions for the game on Saturday. A game that I'm really not looking forward to, like you five lads as well. Conrad, we'll start with you.
1-1.
1-1 draw. Dino?
I've gone 4 weeks in a row and I'm going to be right 4 weeks in a row.
1-0 Wigan.
Sean's got 3-0 Wigan.
3-0.
3-0 Wigan.
No, Sunderland.
The man of Stoke.
2-0 to Sunderland. Comfortable victory.
2-0 to the lads. Michael.
Sunderland 1. Wigan Athletic 2.
Oh no! That was Steve Bruce. Remember that game when Steve Bruce was in charge? That was his last game.
Which one was that?
2013. Steve Bruce, his last game in charge.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he got sacked because he lost 2-1.
Oh no, 2011. That was it.
Yeah. Conrad, I want to ask Conrad a question. I remember distinctly away at Fleetwood, we had your lucky cat in the room when we scored. And did you not let him leave the room when we conceded? So if we go in front, can you please not let your cat leave the room?
I'll try and sit him in the room. Yeah,
Samson, yeah, exactly.
Try and keep him in here because we tend to score when he's in here.
Yeah, so just shut the door and just lock him in the room.
You know what? Staying on that subject, I just hope that this bad luck curse for Conrad ends on Saturday.
I know.
It's becoming a joke now, to be honest.
The worst
How many is it now?
Oh, it's about 6 or 7.
I'm gonna make him feel shit. Yeah, Mansfield, Fleetwood, MK Dons, Doncaster, Fleetwood, and 6 games without a win.
I've got a solution. Don't do a live stream.
Can I just say,
horrible.
The worst bit is, so the Wigan game is what it is. Imagine if we get to Oldham and we still don't win when I'm watching.
At least, well, you're hoping.
Imagine if we get to the end of the year and we still don't win.
Hopefully, because
we only need to get the 50 points to get 6.
We were saying on our group chat, because it's the Papa John's Pizza Trophy. Hopefully, to cheer you up at the end of the game, they'll give some discount for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and badger them all week.
Yeah, you need to comfort it after our 3-0 defeat to Oldham Athletic.
Oh no, honestly, don't remember. Yeah, so the next bit of the show, Sunderland Football Club still haven't got a manager, despite sacking Phil Parkinson on Sunday evening. Gus Poyet was tipped for the job on Monday. Rumours on social media he signed a 3-year deal. Then the Sky Sports news story broke that he ruled himself out of the job. The news today that a director of football is apparently going to be announced very soon, who is being the current director of football at Birmingham City. One of you lads will have to help me out here on trying to pronounce his name. It's a difficult. Go on, Sean, do you want to have a go?
Christian Speakman.
Christian Speakman.
Not Christian, Christian. So
Christian
Speakman.
Christian Speakman. So yeah, he's been reported to be coming in very soon with this new takeover, and it looks like we're going to go for a head coach, not a manager, in our dugout very, very soon. But who's that going to be? The likes of Paul Cook, ex-Wigan manager, and Lee Johnson, the ex-Bristol City manager, have been linked, and even Sol Campbell, his name came up today as well.
Don't go anywhere.
That's it. It's a no from Sean. It's a no from Sean. But right now, it's a job that's not going to be for a faint-hearted person. I'll tell you that now. Sean, we're going to start with you first.
The next for me, I mean, the names what's being linked. I mean, obviously Poyet's out of ruled out now. What's he called? And me and Conrad's had this discussion about Danny Cowley. I'm not feeling it with him. Like
neither am I.
All the names linked. Like, you know, you've got that Lee Johnson. I mean, his name is linked, possibly. I mean, he transferred Bristol City from the relegation zone. He got them near the playoffs, and they're playing good football as well. if you just said that, you need somebody who's going to come in, who's got big balls, somebody's going to come in and just not take any crap off any of the players, get 100% off them. They'll be willing to run through bit walls. And I'm looking at the names. Paul Cook's got to be on there somewhere on the list. He's got to be, I mean, he wasn't my choice. I mean, I would have preferred Pearson, but I think that's not going to happen. Pearson with Phillips, that's not going to happen. People who think Big Sam just figure that ain't happening. Eddie Howe, not
Sadly
happening.
not.
It's not going to happen. It's going to be obviously somebody who's managed in League One or the Championship at best. For me, out of the managers linked, I would probably go with Paul Cook. That's what I'll go with. I think he's done well at Portsmouth. He's done really well at Portsmouth. He got them promoted, and he done a good job at Wigan, and he got Will Grigg firing, and he had Max Power playing half decent. So, for me, if I had a choice, it's going to be Paul Cook. But I'm not. We've had this discussion in our WhatsApp group.
And you love Danny Cowley.
Oh, Danny Cowley, sorry, that's kind of. He's done a good
CONRAD
job.
loves Lee Johnson, just saying.
He's done a good job. His win ratio. His win ratio was off much lower leagues as well. I mean, he done well at Lincoln. And he was there 3 years. I think he had a win ratio of 53% or something like that, which is really good. But he was in League Two though as well. So there's a lot of time in that. So that's kind of, you've got to put that into perspective. I just think right now, need somebody who's been there and done it. And now people say, well, Parkinson's been there and done it, and that didn't work out. I think Paul Cook, that's what I think I'll go for. I mean, because Pearson hasn't, I didn't think he's been in. Sol Campbell apparently has been interviewed for the job now. Sorry, that's just a no for me. Sol Campbell, not a chance.
His win ratio is less than 23% at two clubs.
Macclesfield and Southend.
Keep away from Sol Campbell. It's for me. Let's hope that Paul Cook's interested in the job, and let's hope that we've actually approached him for the job as well.
Yeah, the comment of the night definitely on the live chat goes to Andrew Fox. Rather have Milton Nunes than Sol. Honestly, Conrad, we'll come to you next. Personally, I know people are saying the likes of Paul Cook because he was at Wigan when I think Will Grigg and Max Power was there. So can he potentially come in and get the best out of them two? But I don't know. There's something about, was it Lee Johnson? I think he wouldn't be a bad appointment. Didn't he get Bristol City to a stabilised champion into a stabilised championship club, didn't he?
They were fighting relegation. They were right at the bottom, and when he come in, he transferred, and they were playing really good football. I think they played Man City in the cup, and they played them off the park. Can you remember that?
Yeah.
I think he beat Man United as well at one point. I seem to
beat him. I think Man United.
I say it wouldn't be a bad choice for me. I mean, you see, some of you who getting near the playoffs in the championship, that's a big step up. I think Conrad not near on the head in that is a big step for me. So I wouldn't be against that either. I just think Paul Cook, maybe he's with a Will Grigg thing and Max Power. I'm not a fan of Max Power. Maybe
that's why I want Cook. I'm not going to lie.
Sure. You know what I mean? But like you say, no matter who we get, whoever's the manager is, we've got to all just get behind him, no matter who it is. I mean, I didn't want Danny Kelly, but if Danny Kelly comes in, we've got to give him 100% back, and that's what we've all got to do. We've got to show everybody that we're not a toxic fan base and we are the best supporters in the world, which we are. You know what I mean? So prove it.
Yeah, absolutely. Conrad, will come to you next. Managers being linked left, right, and centre. Apparently, there's been lots of candidates for the job this week. Who's your favourite right now? There's a lot to choose from, especially with the odds being, was it Danny Cowley, the favourite on Sky Bet, I think it is recently. But the list, you can scroll down. There's so many.
It changes depending on which stat I'm looking at each time on there. Like at first, it was I wanted the Cowleys just because I just wanted someone who could motivate the team. That's all I wanted at first, just someone who could get him going, which apparently he's good at. But then Michael shared something where it's not good football. He's good at motivating the players, but it's sort of slogging the ball around. Then I was looking at Johnson, and when his name first came up, I was like, I don't want him. And then I've had a look into it, and he stabilises his teams in the Championship, and that's, at the minute, as bad as this sounds to say, that's actually a fucking dream to be a Sunderland team at the minute, is to be safely in mid-table in the Championship. Like, I'd kill to be there at the minute and having these conversations on a Thursday night going, how do we get better and how do we do this? But so that wouldn't be a good one. I don't know if that was, I know he took over Bristol City when they were already in the Championship, so I don't know what his track record like is at driving a team on. Sol Campbell's just a no, just straight away. He's done bad at the two clubs he's at, so just not for me. Who were the other ones we were? Oh, I didn't want Gus Poyet, but I felt he was rightly sacked the first time. He wasn't doing very good. So he's got teams promoted, but
Pearson and Phillips. I was thinking that.
I mean, Pearson and Phillips is the dream, isn't it? That's the dream, but it's not going to happen. So when I'm realistically looking, it's got to either be the Cowleys for man motivation, or it's going to be Lee Johnson for stability. And that's it's one or the other. We're not going to get. Oh yeah, Paul Cook, but Paul Cook is a good one, but just because he's worked well with Greg and Power before doesn't mean it's going to come in and get them firing now. As we've said, Max Power looks a completely different player to then. So just because a manager's working with him doesn't mean he's going to be that. And Greg, as I've said countless times, he doesn't care. Like it's his attitude. It's not the fact that he hasn't got it. He's just not bothered. Like, he's just not bothered. Like on Twitter, someone put a video of him at MK Dons where against Man United, he scored from about 18 yards out with his chest against Man United. Just sort of like pivoted and got it in. And then against us, he can't score from about this far off the goal line. He's not bothered. He doesn't care.
Michael, before we come to you, we'll go and go to Dino first. Dino, one man that's been popping up a lot on the live chat is someone that you've tipped for the job a few times on our live shows, Daniel Stendel. Could you potentially see him being in the Sunderland dugout?
Well, I don't know is he unemployed?
Yeah, he was. He got sacked at Hearts a while back, I think.
Sacked at Hearts, sorry.
I mean, Daniel's. Who did he manage again in the League One?
Barnsley.
For me, he got Barnsley promoted. He played attacking football. I just want somebody who's not going to be making subs at the same time every game. Someone who's going to have a bit of bottling, drop players, change systems, try something new. I don't want to see the same mundane thing as, we'll make a sub at 70 minutes. We'll make a sub at 85 minutes. Just the same old shit. I want to see someone who's going to drop a main player, bring in someone like Dan Neil, bring in someone like Diamond, change the system when we're getting beats. Just something exciting. I want to see something. I want to see we're going forward, having shots on target, defending. But if we do concede one, go out and score 3 more goals, kill a game off like Barnes used to do when they won this league. I mean, I just want to see, like, people are saying bring Paul Cook because he'll revitalise Power and Greg. For me, that's just bullshit. I mean, a manager can't just do that to 2 players. It's as simple as that. They just can't play together at Sunderland because half the players at Sunderland can't play together because they don't fucking either like each other or they just, they haven't got confidence in the players next to them. I think that's what it is. I don't think any player who's on that pitch have confidence in any of the player next to them. That's how it looks. But I just want somebody who will make a difference. I mean, let's be fair. We went with the dinosaur in Parkinson who did what didn't work. We went with a young lad in Jack Ross, which nearly worked, but it didn't. We need something new. Obviously, I'd love Kevin Phillips, but that's never going to happen in a million years.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Just someone who's going to do something different and not be the same all the time. Just do something different. That's all I want. And by the way, I think we're a bit pushed on talking out the kit man, but I honestly do think it's a disgrace. The kit man. I mean, how you can get rid of a kit man, getting a director of football. I mean, what's happening now? So do the players have to take the kits home now as well? He's
been one of these mates up from Foot Eastleigh. That's what he's doing.
I mean, it is shocking, and I really hope when the takeover goes through, they bring him back, because someone who's put in 30 to 40, 50 years into the club should be there for life.
Ex-player as well.
Exactly, should be there for life. Do you know what I mean? I mean, obviously you can't get statues of kit men, but he should have a status at the club where he's unsackable. He should be the unsackable kit man.
Yeah, I'd name a boozer after him. I love John Cook, such a friendly man in person. Honestly, he's just
name a stand after him.
Honest.
Do that. Yeah. Name a stand after him.
He's such a nice bloke. Honestly, when you meet him on an away day, he's so friendly. When he's loading, the bus up with all the equipment. Other names mentioned on the chat: Peter Reid, Sam Allardyce, Yap Stam. There's another one. Was it David Wood, Gianfranco Zola? Zola's an interesting one because he worked with the apparent new director of football when he was Birmingham manager. But Michael, we're going to come to you next, as obviously we need to make it quick as we are pushed for time tonight. What do you reckon on the latest managerial situation?
Well, I've already said Paul Cook, and I fully agree. I fully agree with partly of Sean's reasoning, Power and Greg. Although it doesn't mean just because you work with them doesn't mean it's going to happen again. It also doesn't mean it's not going to work. He knows these players inside out. It's not just about two players. Everyone else has got to start taking responsibility. But that's the two key words: take responsibility. And you can argue what makes Paul Cook different to Phil Parkinson. Well, for starters, I think Paul Cook's a much bigger character than Phil Parkinson. He's also managed at a higher standard in the Championship than Phil Parkinson has. When Phil Parkinson got Bolton in the Championship, he scraped them 21st, albeit without money to spend. So fair enough. Paul Cook got Wigan playing some very good football at the back end of last season and only got relegated because the incompetent EFL decided to screw them over, which has left them in the situation they are. That's nothing to do with Paul Cook or the players. He assembled a decent squad with not having much money to play. Having said that, if I was to move on to other candidates, Daniel Stendhal, for what's happened at Hearts, I'm a little bit... a year ago, I would have snapped your hand off for him, but I think at Hearts, it's kind of soured it a little bit. But at the same time, Daniel Stendhal seems a big character. Now, the key thing in those two phrases are a big character. Phil Parkinson, if you remember how dull Phil Parkinson's press conference used to be, it's like, well, we took the lead against MK Dons, and I'm not going to look you straight in the eye, by the way, but we've just beat twice, and it's like, it was dull, it was boring, and I know that shouldn't determine if you're a good manager or not. But to manage someone like Sunderland, one of the reasons people took to Chris Coleman so well, whatever your opinions on him, is because he was a big character. That's one of the reasons that people liked him. You look at Sol Campbell. Well, if he comes in, I'll start getting a fundraiser to hashtag bring Parky back, because that's a massive downgrade. Massive downgrade. I think it's to do with the Rooney rule, apparently, that you've got to interview a black candidate, which, fair enough, in principle is a good thing, but Sol Campbell, that's just big no-no. Who was the other ones mentioned? Cowley's, I was kind of keen on them, given what the football that they played Lincoln, but when you look at what I shared in the group chat, it was basically something about football's turgid, which doesn't as bother me as long as it's effective, but at the same time, I think he was basically similar to Parkinson, making subs far too late. He was far too stubborn. His personality was a bit dour. And when I've watched him in interviews, he just doesn't. I think I'd rather avoid. I mean, I'd rather have Cowley over Campbell any day of the week. I'd rather have Sean and Dino as manager than Sol Campbell, for goodness sake. But I don't.
Are we only interviewing people whose surnames begin with C? Just working our way through the alphabet. We're on C.
Anyways, yeah. Look, and as I said, with I don't. You probably won't have time to talk about this. So the John Cook thing, absolutely disgraceful, and it just shows what. Right, I'm going to swear. Everyone else has been swearing. What bastards Stuart Donald and Charlie Murphy and all that are. It just goes to show all they're in for now is money. And apparently you're willing to employ your puppet Jim Rodwell, who's probably not going to be he's probably going to be a nice cushy little wage, and John Cook, who's offered 10 times more to the club than what any of these twats at the top ever have, is sacked. It just goes to show what disrespect and utter contempt that they've got for the supporters, how Charlie Murphy dares to go on how toxic our fan base is, ignoring all the records we've set, all the attendances in League One, selling out Wembley, coming close to doing it again 6 weeks after the Czech Trade final. Yep, just and piss off. There you go.
Fuck off.
Yeah,
there you go. Sean said
apologies to our viewers for Michael and Sean's potty mouth tonight.
To be fair, there was bad language well before I started speaking.
Yeah, I'll throw Dino into the mix as well. You're just as bad as
Don't blame me. Don't blame me. He's got no to do with me.
Potty mouth.
No, we've all got potty mouths, to be fair. The last comment I'm going to go to on the live chat. Cheers, Michael. Last comment on the live chat I'm going to come to tonight, guys. The solution is, this is a comment from Jacob Arvard. Bowers as manager and Sean as assistant. My mistake, Jacob and Conrad on the board. Happy days.
Right.
I'd settle for that any day.
Dino's just left at home.
I'm just unemployed.
If our manager, we might win the. If our manager, we might win the Conference North. We might have a bit of a chance of that.
I don't even think we'll win that, mate.
No,
Bowers,
probably not.
Bowers, that's when the banter goes a little bit too far. I'm sorry.
Jacob, I've seen what's happened the last few weeks. I think the banter's gone well far enough.
Yes, I can agree more. And finally, the last person we're going to come to about Sunderland's search for their next manager. The man mistake. Take it away. You're the last man to speak tonight.
I can imagine Charlie Methven sitting down with Stuart Donald over a cup of tea and a scone, thinking, how can we piss the fans off even more than we're doing right now? Let's sack John Cook. What complete twats they are. Pardon me, French. Right. I have no confidence at all in this takeover taking place. It's an investment. Let's make no bones about it. Donald and Medford are still going to be pulling the strings. No matter what anybody says, it's an investment. It'll show his face, do the pleasantries, but we all know who's in charge. So, last time we had a managerial change. We all wanted this, we wanted that, the favourites here and there and everywhere. And in walks a complete stranger, Phil Parkinson. Nobody expected Phil Parkinson. It's the same going to happen again. I have no faith whatsoever in Donald making a good choice for manager of Sunderland Association Football Club. If it was my choice, I'd bring a man in who managed a team on the brink of going out of the Football League in League 2, and he got into the Premier League. I'd bring in Eddie Howe. That's just my personal opinion. He had the guile, the bravery, the guts, the determination, the knowledge, the know-how to take this club from League 2 almost in the National Conference to go all the way to the Premier League. For me, that shows he's a good manager. But will he work under this technical director? Will he work under this technical director? Probably not, which is a goddamn shame. If it was my choice, I'd have him. But I've got no faith at all in Donald doing anything good at this club until he absolutely just fucks off.
And that concludes the show tonight. Apologies for the language there once again. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's edition of the Thursday Night Live here on SAFC Fan TV. Thank you for all your comments in the live chat as well. We will be back on Saturday as Sean, Michael and Conrad will be doing a live stream for the Wigan Athletic game, and also be back for the Sunday Bunch on Sunday, reviewing what hopefully is a victory against Wigan Athletic, and the curse that Conrad has currently got on live streams is finally over. But guys, thank you for joining us tonight. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bring on Wigan Athletic at home on Saturday.